If you imagine that scope creep is the inflation of that balloon, then it can show up in a bunch of different ways. And I'm going to go through these in more detail in terms of how you solve for them. But the reason it's important to understand how it's showing up is because you're going to switch up what your solution is and how you're addressing it, or even how you're managing it. The first, where right at the beginning, they show up with a bigger balloon than what you talked about, than what is in the contract, where they're suddenly talking about things that have nothing to do with the budget. And part of that you have to understand is, even if a client signs a contract, even if they agree to what the scope is, they agree to what the price is and everything, they're not necessarily going to remember that because they have a whole bunch of other things that they're doing throughout their day. They're not going to remember all of the details. That's part of what your value is and part of what your job is. So that's one way that it can show up, is suddenly they show up, they got a bigger balloon